My name is Kayla Patton, and I'm going to be doing a persuasive speech on why cell phones should be allowed in school for students. So I personally think that cell phones should be allowed in school for students because it is a reason of safety, responsibility, and it is very useful in classes and things like that. So we'll start with safety. I truly feel like it is scary, especially in America, about school shootings, and not having phones can be very detrimental in those situations. If something happens and a student has no way to contact either authorities or parents, family, whatever, that can be very bad, or even seeing what is happening for that emergency situation. It can also be scary with things like medical emergencies. If a child is having a medical emergency, let's say a bathroom break, and they have their phone with them, they can contact someone, let somebody know if they cannot get up, things like that. I have had personal experience with things like that. Siblings in school that have had medical emergencies that have let me know, and that I have had to go and make sure that they were okay. And if they wouldn't have had their phone, I honestly don't know what would have happened. I've also had experience with friends having parents that worked at the school with medical emergencies, and they have had access to their medication that they need, which is a really big factor, because if they can't get to that, bad things could happen. So that is a very big reason that I feel like phones should be allowed in school for students. And as far as responsibility goes, I think it really shows a kid's respect when they learn how to take care of their phone and know when to be on it and when not to be on it. I think it is a very big learning experience also to be taking care of an expensive piece of technology. First, for a student to learn a little bit more responsibility and just taking care of things and being respectful to their peers and teacher. I also feel like it is useful in many classes for things like calculators or looking things up, things like ebooks. I've had English classes where I've had to use my phone and read an ebook during reading time because maybe I didn't have a book, or the book that I was currently reading was an ebook on my phone, and been able to do that, which was great for me, because another reason is a lot of students focus better when they're hearing things like that and not just looking at it. So it can be helpful as well when you're reading a book to even have the ebook playing while you're reading the text. Sometimes it helps kids understand it better, and I was one of those kids, so even the books that were regularly in English, we would have the audio playing as well, if we wanted to, while we read it, just to kind of help us understand it better and focus more, things like that. As far as calculators go, I have used my phone many times with the professional calculator apps in math class. Sorry, my cat's in the way. With things like math class, and we have been able to use that. And I've had classes where students have forgotten to bring their classroom calculators back, so there wasn't enough for the whole class. So it was very useful to have something like that for me to be able to use. And I also think that it's helpful to be contacting coaches. I've had a lot of friends be having to contact coaches and knowing when practices change and things like that, and it's very useful to be able to see the time messages from coaches, because not everything gets announced and is able to be known before school is over, and some of those things are very needed to be known before school is right over. And so altogether, I think it is really just all of the students should be allowed to have their phones reasonably in school for safety, responsibility, and usefulness.